Hi everyone, we are Juanita Lopez, Valeria Nao, and Mariana Valencia, and we welcome you to our podcast, where we will be discussing PTSD in soldiers and veterans, a mental health issue that is not widely addressed. PTSD stands for Posttraumatic Stress Disorder, which can be defined in simple terms as a medical mental disorder that triggers uncontrollable feelings and behaviors after the person experiences a traumatic event. PTSD has been present in soldiers throughout our history. Let's take a few steps back to see how it was initially understood. According to Michael Duke, physicians in the Second World War understood the symptoms now associated with PTSD, which included emotional numbness, flashback, depression, and guilt, as battle fatigue. It was not until 1980 that the American Psychiatric Association defined it as PTSD for the first time.
As of the current day, studies have shown that pre-trauma vulnerability such as family history, genetic disorders, gender, ethnic minorities, negative parenting experiences, and low education are also high influencers to soldiers developing the disorder. Subsequently, it is indispensable to understand how these highly important factors are big influencers on soldiers and their development of PTSD, meaning that each experience will be completely different from one another. But there are noticeable patterns as to pre-traumatic factors with a similar context, especially regarding the different living conditions of countries worldwide. Which is why, in our next episode, we will discuss how PTSD is experienced by soldiers globally. As for right now, let us dive into further detail of how impactful this illness really is.
To better understand how PTSD affects an individual, it is best to learn a little bit about how it affects them neurologically. For instance, the amygdala is a part of the brain which is in charge of managing and controlling emotions. It is also in charge of the fight or flight response, which is how our body physically reacts to stress and/or fear. What PTSD does, as it was mentioned by the Washington Academy of Sciences, is that it maintains the amygdala in a vigilant state and prevents the body from regulating this. Hence, the person's memories start to be fragmented and the individual misplaces the time in which these events took place. Meanwhile, the brain keeps sending stress and fear signals, and this is why people with PTSD often have the sensation that they are reliving their trauma. We hope this episode helped you understand the basics of this mental illness, and we hope you'll join us soon for our next episode of Studying PTSD in Soldiers. Thank you for listening.